The exhaust setup on my W210 E430 is a secondary cat delete, resonator delete with an X pipe in place of the resonator and a gutted AMG muffler. This is the best sound I've found out of all the different cars I've listened to with the exhausts that are still currently available. Of course, exhausts like Brabus, maybe Lorenzer, and other brands may no longer be available, so you just have to find them used. The Super Sprint, which is still available, sounds exactly the same as the stock muffler, so that to me was just a complete waste of money. It's just purely for the cosmetic tips. Super Sprint is the only exhaust I know that's really available. I know Eisenman, you can kind of find them used here and there. Those sound really good as well. Some people may or may not prefer the Eisenman tips. I personally like the factory AMG tips. This exhaust setup that I have, I think is really good because unless you're on the throttle, it's pretty quiet. There's no drone. You're not going to be tracking attention. When you floor it, it gives you a really nice sound. For some people, it may not be loud enough. For me, it definitely is, and it's definitely a lot louder than a stock muffler is. The stock muffler is just way too quiet, and even though the stock muffler is a straight through design, which I will show you in a bit, there's just too much sound deadening material inside of the muffler to actually give it a nice sound. So when you have the secondary cats and resonator removed, it's almost like just the same stock sound with just more boomy bass to it. It's not super loud. I've even heard a car with Kleeman headers straight back to the muffler, nothing in between to muffle sound, and it's still not as loud as this setup. I really like the setup. To me, like, there's literally no drawback to it other than you're going to cut open your muffler, so there's going to be some weld spots on it, but it's hidden. It's all the way at the top. You'll never see it. Even when you look under the car, you will never see it. I think it is worth doing to your muffler if you want a louder sound. So if we take a look underneath, there is no evidence of the muffler being tampered with from this view at all. Nothing. So here I have a E55 muffler off of the car, and I cleaned this up as much as I could, so it's in pretty good shape. So hopefully you can see what I'm talking about. But what's done to the muffler on my car is that it was cut right here along the welds. I think about right here and right there. And then this piece was opened up. I think it went all the way back to possibly here. And all the sound deadening material inside was taken out. So what is sound deadening material? It looks like steel wool, honestly, but it is just some material to help dampen the sound that comes out of the muffler. This is actually straight through design, so these pipes actually go straight through to the tips. But these are resonated pipes, meaning there are holes on the pipe all around to let sound bounce out inside of the muffler to kind of help muffle it, obviously. And that's what the sound deadening material does. And then it comes out the pipe, and that's what you hear. So on my muffler, I kept the stock resonated pipes. You could replace them with straight pipes. That'll probably make it just a little bit too loud. That would just essentially be a muffler delete with a box over it. I don't think the box would be doing a whole lot, just adding weight. And I did have a muffler delete on this car a couple years ago. If you look at my channel, you'll see it's probably one of my first videos. It was definitely loud. It did sound good. There's no drawbacks to the sound, I would say, but it did drone a lot. For some people, it might be too loud, and it's definitely going to attract some attention that you may or may not want. So let's go ahead and take a look inside of the muffler to show you that it is straight through. So I'm shining a light in there. Hopefully you can see, maybe not, but there is a resonated pipe, and it does go straight all the way back. There are no turns at all, and it is true of both pipes. There is nothing that turns in there to muffle sound. It is straight through to the pipes. So the pipes literally go from the tailpipe all the way back to the actual pipes that go to the car. There's nothing that turns in there. So that will probably also lighten your muffler up just a little bit, not a whole lot. It's still gonna be pretty heavy, but you'll feel that it's way more hollow inside afterwards. So listen to that real quick. And we'll go to mine. May not be so accurate from this angle, but let's see if we can hear a difference. Definitely sounds more hollow in person. I don't know if the camera picks it up. So here's my exhaust. I'll try to take a look inside. But yeah, you see it's a little wet from condensation. I just turned it on. But there are the resonated pipes in there still, and you can't really tell a difference otherwise. There's no way to tell that this has been gutted besides the weld marks. So gutting your muffler will not affect emissions at all. It will just affect the sound, and it will make it louder. And like I said, there's no drone with my setup. I do have an X pipe that may or may not play a factor. I have no secondary cats or resonators, so keep that in mind when you hear the sound. And I do have the stock headers and the primary cats. So it's just the secondaries and resonator that's removed and an X pipe in place. So to gut your muffler, if you have the welding skills, you can obviously do it yourself, but you can just take it to an exhaust shop. They'll have to pull your muffler off, so hopefully you still have your factory clamps and they could just remove the muffler section alone and do it. But not every shop will want to do it, so just call up and check your local shops if you don't have the ability to do it yourself. But this is a fairly simple process. So we have the original primary cats up here. No issues there, all stock. Got the O2 sensors, and then right here is where we cut out the secondary cats. Just have some straight pipes welded in. And going back, we have an X pipe where the resonator was. So secondary cats to the resonator. That's an X pipe now. And then this part was welded there. We have the original clamps here to the muffler. And here's my muffler. This is the original AMG muffler for the 210 E55. And if we take a look up here, we'll see it is cut open. There's some weld spots on it. It's a little ugly, but you never see it from the underside. They cut it open, took out all the sound deadening material, and I don't think they modified the pipes inside. We can still see the resonated pipes in there, so that's original. Those are the resonated pipes from factory, and usually it's stuffed around with the sound deadening material. It almost looks like steel wool. That is what really quiets down the muffler. So I have just the sound deadening material removed. I kept the original resonated pipes inside. All right, so here we are, just driving around normally. We'll see how it sounds. So pretty normal, just driving around. You don't really notice the difference, and then just had to give it some gas. You hear a little bit, but it's a very nice sound. It's not too overpowering. If you're playing music, you probably won't even hear it. We're accelerating again, pretty slowly, not too bad at all. And you do hear the exhaust a little bit, but I wouldn't consider it a drone. It's just you're hearing the actual exhaust note, and it's not like annoying at all. It's about the same as the wind noise outside. All right, then we are approaching a tunnel here, and I'll go ahead and do a pull. So I had to stop recording there for a little bit because I did pass a cop, but that was right after I did that pull in the tunnel and he didn't hear it. So think about that. He didn't even notice it, and I floored it back there. So pretty satisfied with that. It's loud enough to where it's enjoyable to me, but it's not going to bother anybody. and that's what I think is really good for this car. It's supposed to be kind of subtle and not so out there in your face. You know, the sound is good from the inside and it sounds even better on the outside, but it's not so annoying, I would say. So really a nice balance. I'm really happy with this exhaust. And there you have it. That is the sound with the gutted muffler. There's no drone, perfectly reasonable to drive every day with, and it's still a really good sound. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comments, and thank you for watching.